actually. So it is Characterization, and this is the most important class as all the machine learning model things will be moving from here. So we need to provide it some parameters like asset managers. In the asset we have a model. So in asset we have added two files, and now we have the model path and then we have the label path. So all these things we have to add. Okay, here we are passing them within this parameters of this class called categorization, and taking one more thing, that is input size. Okay, so how does this machine learning models works with TensorFlow Lite on Android devices? So first of all, when we are talking about the image preprocessing, then the image should be in proper dimensions. Okay, so first of all, the dimensions of the image will be looked into, and after that the image will process. Like there's a process of converting the image into array, then we're gonna work on that. So this is all these things that includes machine learning with TensorFlow Lite on Android devices. Here now the given input size and making some variables here like photo, standard deviation, and then we have the outcome. So outcome, as the probability also plays a good role here, we will take up the data which is most probable for the result. Okay, then we have this TensorFlow Interpreter, and we have made this variable here. Okay, again we have one more thing, that is a list of a string for row line, and then we have that image underscore pixel size. Okay, as I've already told you, I think the pixels is under 200 or 250 for the machine learning models. We cannot use the images having very good pixels or like in greater amount of size, so that it will increase the processing time. That's why we use this. Then we have point of threshold, and then we have taken up within this float category. Okay, then we need to create a data class. Data class is a kind of thing that we don't need to create like input methods and then the constructor also. So we are taking up this and then making ID, taking the string empty here, title and confidence. Okay, so this title and confidence will be the percentage, and the title will be the name of that particular infection. And now we're gonna use one method called toString. We are overriding this. So what will it return? Like title equals to title. Like what will it returns? Like in which format we want to show the result. So we are manipulating that thing within this return line. So adding title equals to then this dollar and then title variable. So whatever within that place or whatever that variable contains will be written from this, and that's so with confidence also. Okay, so almost done with it, And now let me see. Okay, one more thing is this initiate method. Initiate one. Okay, so within this initiate we need to also start the interpreter, and we need to load a model within the interpreter. Okay, so this interpreter is related to the TensorFlow Lite, and then it will load up our asset manager, that is that TensorFlow tf.tflite file and that .txt file. So that will be loaded from here, and then we have this row line. Again, we need to make these things also, such as load model file method, working on this, and the asset manager passed, and it is returning mapped buffer. Okay, then within this file descriptor we'll try to open the file. Okay, so open fd is a method that we gonna use, and we will be passing the model path. So model path, what is the model path here? Model path is a relative path of .tflite file that we have stored within the asset folder in the beginning of this project. Okay, so we need to reach to that file to load it within the interpreter to process the files of image or images on that model. Then we have this input streaming here, and input streaming is file input stream, and then we have file channel like, and start offset. Again, we need to add few more variables such as declared length, and that declared length is file descriptor dot declared length, and then we're gonna return the file channel dot map, and what we are mapping it with, like file channel dot map mode dot read only, and then passing the start offset and the declared length. Okay, so all the informations regarding to our model that are needed to start it, we are passing it from here, and then we are loading the label list also. Okay, so we have loaded the model file. Now with that model file we have that .txt file also, in which the disease names are there, and now we have to take up that label list accordingly with the help of that model file. Okay, so just returning it to that list wise, and then we have a method called recognize image, which is taking the image in the form of bitmap. So what does this bitmap? Bitmap is a very popular format in Android when we are using the image to be pre-processed, then we must convert it into the bitmap format. Then that bitmap file can be foldable into matrix also. Okay, so what will it return? It will return the list of categorization, and then we have to open this method. This method is called recognize image. Okay, so we need to scale up this bitmap, and the bitmap is up to like a certain height and certain width will be there. So we are creating a scaled bitmap and passing the size of the given input size for the height and the width. And then the filter, there is no need of any filter, so making it as false. Okay, so now what we are doing, we are having the image is comes under that bitmap format, and then with that bitmap we are changing it or converting it to the scaled bitmap that we need here. Then we gonna get the byte buffer. Okay, so converting the bitmap to byte buffer. I've already told you that for pre-processing the image there are ways in machine learning. Okay, so first we take up the image within a certain format, then we have to convert it, within the numeric form, you can say like matrix or array. So bitmap is a foldable data type or data extension that we gonna use here. Okay, then we have to run the interpreter over the byte buffer that we have taken up from the bitmap, and we have to pass the result also, and this result will take up the label from the list. Okay, then we have to take up the sorted result and we have passed that result array and returning that sorted results. Okay, now this method is important. Here we are creating a byte buffer from a bitmap. So we have this bitmap and then we have to return the byte buffer from here. Okay, no issue. Within this method we need to create a variable byte buffer, and then we need to allocate it direct like 4 into, then we have the size and multiplying it and making it by pixel size. Okay, so for now I have to add byte buffer dot order and then pass byte order dot native order. Okay, to order the pixels, here we are using that, and then we need to have an array of given input size into given input size, just like you can consider it as a matrix. Okay, then we have a scaled bitmap dot get pixel, and here we gonna pass the int value and then 0, then scaled bitmap dot width, and then we have scaled bitmap dot width again scaled bitmap dot height. For sure, yeah. So getting the pixels now, and when we got the pixels we have to run a loop until what? Until the given input size, and then there is one more loop here again, as we have height and width, both the things, and pixels are scattered in these both, so we are using that. And for making the variable named as well, we are using these tilted commas, inverted commas. So this is also a new learning. When you are using Kotlin, and you can do that. And then we are passing pixel plus plus over this int value variable. Okay, what is then like this? Okay, let me think it out. what's the problem or leave it behind. We'll correct all the errors at the end. There should be no issue regarding this, but we have closed the loop at the beginning. That's the mistake. Okay, so now let's see, like white buffer dot put float, and within this we need to pass this val first of all, and here we are also using the tilted inverted commas, and then we are giving shrink here, and then again we have to take up this 0xff, and then here we are actually giving the formula for that deviation. Okay, so making it like this, and here we have to make it 8. So you know about 16-bit and 8-bit and all these format of number theory. And then okay, so photo mean and standard deviation, all these things will be considered for this byte buffer. Then we are returning the byte buffer, and here we have to create one more method called get sorted result. Okay, for sure we have to create this method, and then it is also returning the list. And what list it is returning, let's see that and then work accordingly. Okay, so first of all we have to make a priority queue, and within that priority queue we have to pass out this great outcome max, and then we need to pass that comparator method here. So we'll be adding this comparator, and then that Kotlin comparator actually, and we need to pass out this categorization here, and instead of O01 or O102 we need to pass out the custom values, and this underscore and then confidence 1. Okay, again underscore then confidence 2. Okay, so this thing, and then java.lang.float. I think F should be capital, that's why it's showing the red line. So make sure the F is in capital form. Then we have to compare the confidence 1 and 2, then multiply it by -1 so that the values can't be negative. Okay, then we need to start a loop here according with row line dot indices, and then we have the confidence here, and according to that particular confidence we need to load up the data from the label. Okay, so getting it like label prop array and its position 0 and I, and checking if the confidence is crossing a particular threshold, then we need to add this thing within the priority queue. Okay, so doing this, of course we need to add different things here like loop variable, then row line size, we are checking if it is greater than size, then what else we can go for? We can go for unknown thing. Okay, like if it is crossed the number of items that we have within the list, then we don't have that much quantity, so this thing will be considered as unknown. Okay, then we have recognition here. So for recognition, we have to take up the categorization and then check up with just making another recognition size, and size is math.min pq.size and then greater outcome max. Will be fetching the value based on this. Okay, so recognition size, and then we have recognitions, and we're gonna add this pq.poll, and then finally we're gonna return the recognitions. Okay, so almost it is done, but fewer methods are left out, like this method. So okay, so there is some error and I have to fit that things. Okay, so I think it's all things are completed. We have added all the methods and all these things, and this label prob array is an array and it's showing error, and not a method. It was not a method, just split out from the mind. Yeah, so what I gonna do is to just add up these checkups here, and then I'm gonna correct everything for sure. So let me just replace it with null assertion. I hope it works. And you can see we have various methods when it comes to the null assertion. Let me just undo it, and then you will able to see there are 3 methods of doing that. And if you use different method, then you will have to see the different things. So which method is appropriate here? Like you can use that conventional method for this. Okay, now so let's try all these things and go for the conventional one, and I'm checking it out whether the problem is this or if it is a different thing, then we can just make it up. Okay, now let me just do it by these things. So corrected by the third one is this is awesome, asserted signs, and then what we have here is to just remove this s int value, make it int value. It's a variable. Okay, no issues. And now let's see what is not appearing like this, the form in which I want. I think this method is also wrong. It is get pixels. We have missed out the s. So s. Okay, now you can see that's good to go. Now we have this label prop array, and it is also showing error. So we need to debug this also, and let's see what causing it as a error for this label prop array. Okay, so I think we have used different thing. We just have to use the result within the parameter. It is result, but we have used different thing. Okay, now it is error free. You can see that this class is error free. Everything is good to go. And if you are having any error, then pause the video and correct the error at that position. Okay, don't move forward with the errors, you will fall. Okay, so be cautious about it. And now Okay, now we have to move to activities, as we have different activities and this class is completed, which is the crucial one. That's why I've completed it firstly. Now we have to move to activity. So we have activity called main, so most important activity, and the last activity. On the other activities, on contrary, we don't have to do anything. They are just here to for that UI only. But this main activity is important one. That's why we need to create variables here and do the rest of the work. Okay, so making variables or bitmap and this categorization object, all these things, and then camera request, as we're gonna use the gallery as well as the camera option for taking the picture, then we're gonna detect it. Okay, so we are using the picture of a leaf to detect that particular infection or disease within that plant. Okay, so now we have this input size, and then it is input size is 2 to 4. Okay, then we have to give the model path. So model path is plant underscore disease underscore model.tflight, and then we have this label path also, that txt file. So we have to give the name of that file also here. So .txt and .tflight. Let's make sure that we have used the correct things. Here you can see that correct spellings, no issues. Okay, and now what I gonna do here is to make sample path, and it will contains like ottoman.jpg, that image. Okay, and then we have the toolbar. Okay, toolbar and all these things, these are like not for that good use, for it's just for UI. You can leave this or make the screen full screen app. Okay, and like navigation here, so navigation view, and it will also be add up here only. Again we have this. Okay, this much is done for now, and then let me see what else is needed. Okay, we are within this onCreate method, and this method is also the important method, and now we need to just map up the things with that navigation. Actually we are using the custom library, that why we are mapping, otherwise in Kotlin we don't use mapping. Okay, so just because we are using some old libraries for the purpose of making the UI and UX great, that's why we are using this find view by ID. Okay, so doing it like this only, and making up to the toolbar also. These are like optional things, you can leave them apart. It will won't affect the process. So the process is genuine and organic, like what we are doing. We are working over a machine learning model, and we are just what you can say is combining it with an application. Okay, so that's our main motive of making this application of the project. So now this drawer, so drawer, we are doing up with that drawer r.id, and then here we have to give the drawer layout. Okay, and taken up as advanced drawer layout. Then we have the drawer dot set view scale, and within this we have to pass out like gravity compact dot start. Okay, so passed out that thing, and then some map percentage like 0.9f to f, and then we have the toggle. So for toggle we have a drawer and then tool bar and then 0 0, like opening and closing of a drawer. So this is that thing. And then we have drawer listener here, and we are passing the toggler for syncing the state, and navigation view dot set navigation item selected listeners, passing this to it, and then drawer dot set element, view element, set view element, same dot like gravity compact dot start, and then the other things like color is transparent. Okay, so this is the things related to UI, but we're gonna go with these things also, like this is also a part of this project, and like set drawer elevation and passing it gravity compact start and 20f. And now what we gonna do is to contrast threshold 3f. We are using these properties for that drawer. You can find these properties for that custom drawer on the internet or on that GitHub page also, and you can directly copy this much code. You don't have to write it, but if you will write, then there's also no much problem in this very few and small lines for the drawer properties. So this one is use custom behavior compact and now we have wall header view navigation view dot get attribute resolution stack and get header view, passing 0 to it. Okay, ready to go. What else can be done here? Actually, when you make an application like this, you need to think about when you are writing every line. So this is categorization. To call up that categorization data class constructors, we need to pass out the data from here only, such as model path and that label list path. All these things, input size, we have to pass it from here only. And then we have resources dot asset dot open sample path, and then we have to use bitmap. So we are just decoding that thing. So decoding a stream and passing IT to it. Then we have bitmap dot we are making a scale bitmap here and passing bitmap dot input size, again input size, and then passing true to it. Okay, so photo view dot set image bitmap, and here we are setting the image from the photo view to set bitmap. Like bottom navigation. So bottom navigation, it is not showing actually. So that thing in the first half we saw that Ibrahim smooth bottom bar library not loaded us, so that's why we have added some things in the Gradle. So we need to add that view right now. Okay, so for that we need to go within that XML to add that thing. Okay, so bottom nav is showing error. You can see that we need to go there and complete that thing. We left it incomplete within the main XML, main activity XML. We leave it incomplete. Okay, so what else we gonna search it for it. Now you can see this. Just need to add that thing here, then we gonna move further. So it is a smooth bottom bar, and the properties for this view says match parent and then TP, and then we have the ID. So taking the ID as bottom underscore nav, then we have padding, taking all these things, padding, margin, and the properties like icon size. What icon size do you want here? All these things we are adding. Okay, no problem. And now what we gonna do is to get that gravity, and gravity is taken up as bottom. Then we have the elevation, and then again the padding part and the background. Okay, so these things are the properties for this particular view. Now we have to add the menu, and we have added the items in the new menu also, so we are adding it here. Okay, no problem, and almost everything is done. Now what we need is, okay, nothing. So smooth bottom bar is completed, you can see, and now we need to move to the main activity to complete our programming part for this. Okay, so now you can see that the error is removed for that particular bottom nav. Now we need to set the set on click listeners, the on click actions for this navigation, for the bottom navigation. So doing that here, like bottom nav dot set on click listener, and then object, and again we have here the method called on item selected listener, and within this we need to override this item select, and here we will be adding the item like item position wise, item 0, 1, 2, and it's like 1. So for first position it's like we have to move to the main activity, so this, and then intent we need to import it, alt plus enter in Windows, and then we need to do what, like this, and try again this at main activity. Okay, and it will take up to what, that common remedy one. Okay, so this is the format when you are using Kotlin and moving from one activity to another activity using intent. Then you just simply need to start that particular activity. Okay, then you need to return true. Now copy the lines so that it can be beneficial to not to write too much code. Copy that and then make it true, and you just need to change the class here. So we'll changing the class to about here, and then everything is same. It is start activity and return true. Otherwise it will return false. Simple. This is done. Now after this one, what is necessary, let's see, and then we're gonna add it here only. So this navigation part is complete, the bottom navigation part. Here you can see in the right side that's error are also there, so we need to debug the errors also, and for that we need to work over there. So I think at the end of this we're gonna debug the whole thing and we'll do work over there. Okay, so almost I think 5 to 7 errors are there within this main activity, and let's see. Okay, so one error is this, so I've corrected it. Now you can see it is in correct form. We have used the different bracket actually. We have used the braces by the release of the normal bracket. Okay, so now the camera button. So if we click on the camera, then camera will open. So we need to set up that thing. So for that we are opening that camera intent action from here. So adding it, and then after getting the image we're gonna take up with that on activity result. Okay, so starting activity for result and passing call camera intent, and then the camera request code that we had added in the starting of this activity. Okay, then the gallery, as we can take up the picture from camera, also we can import or take up the picture from gallery. We have two choices. Okay, so now the camera one is done and we are working over the gallery option here. Okay, so the gallery option, intent, and then need to add action.pick. Actually we are picking the picture from the gallery, so this one, intent dot type, then what type of data you are taking. So all the data of image, like the extensions should be of image type only, and like this, starting all these things, and then we need to take up that on detection method. This is the really important method, that whenever you have selected the image, then you have to click on this, and this method will take up you to a result. Okay, but the result should come after some processing, as machine learning model is included and TensorFlow engine is included. So we need to show the progress bar also, like it is taking time, please wait, and then show the result. So for that we are taking the progress dialog here, and we are taking it like this, progress dialog dot set title, and we are setting the title according to yourself. You can set according to yourself, you are free to set it. Okay, so progress bar, and you can give any message of your choice. Here also I'm giving the message of my choice, so it's completely depend upon you, like what you want to add. Okay, so almost done, and then we have progress dialog dot show, then we have handler, and handler, what we gonna do within the handler, like handler dot post delay. Okay, so after delay of 1 or 2 seconds it will show up the result. So for that we are using this handler and post delay, and then we're gonna use this progress dialog dot dismiss, and then result. Okay, so for result I'm categorizing that object, and while calling that method recognize image and passing the bitmap to it, and then first or null, and then we are setting the result to that particular text view where we gonna show the result in the red color text. Okay, so it will show the confidence as the title, and then percentage, and then take up the name from the label list for that particular defect that is found within the leaf of the plant which is infected. Okay, so after 2 seconds, that's why we have added the 2000, because it considers the time in millisecond. That's why 2000. Okay, now the all buttons on click action have completed, and now we're gonna add that on activity result here. So we have to work for it, and let me check. Still the errors are there, but we're gonna correct them at the end of this activity code. There will be no error. So now on activity result, like we have take up the photos from camera or gallery, then there should be some result for that activity. So here we are using that. If we have taken the image from camera, then this condition remains to be true, and again we have this like activity dot set result okay, result okay, and then data is not null. Then within this if condition, we're gonna check the data within that bitmap. So we'll take up that image, and after taking up that image, get the data okay as bitmap. We are taking up that image data in the format of bitmap. Bitmap is a format for image, as you have seen JPG or PNG. So bitmap is also like them only, and bitmap is almost used for these purpose like machine learning and all these things, because bitmap is foldable. And now we are scaling the image. Why we are scaling the image? As it may be possible that your camera is having high resolution and that image will be of like 5 or 10 MB, then there will be needed more time to process the image pixel by pixel. So what we do, we just resize the image okay into a smaller size, then we go pixel by pixel and got the result in a small time. Okay, and the else part. Okay, like if we set up the photo, then this heading will be there like your photo images set or whatever it is, and then we have the camera cancel. If you have cancelled it, again show correct. Okay, so this if condition is done. Else if we have taken the picture from gallery, then what should be this? So just making the condition for that as if gallery request code. So to work over this also, so doing this, like we need to add that URI, maybe that the image is stored somewhere, so we have to take up that image and then we need to pass it as a bitmap, and the whole thing from the media store dot images dot get bitmap dot images, and then dot media dot get bitmap. Okay, so I have already talked about bitmap so much, now you know it. And if you want to get more information regarding it, you can make a search on Google and get more information like how bitmap is important for image pre-processing and machine learning or deep learning. Okay, now we are adding the try catch conditions here, and for the catch condition we are just stack tracing it. Okay, almost everything is under control, and then bitmap scaled image passing the bitmap to it, photo image, then we are setting up to that particular image view that we have created. Okay, and we have given the ID for that as m photo image view. Okay, now what else is needed? Let me see. First of all, let me cut this extra space from here, and then we need to create this method. This method will scale the image. Scale the image means to convert the big image into small image. That's why I'm calling it scale the image. So it is taking the image in the format of bitmap actually. So we have the original dimensions and then we have the preferable dimensions. So we'll be converting it from original dimension to preferable dimensions. So doing this here, like original width, and then we have the original height. So bitmap.height. Okay, then we have scaled width and scaled height will be there for processing the image dimensions for it. So to flat, and then we have height like this and scale like input size to float. Okay, no issues. I'm doing this and making the matrix. So how matrix is also important thing, and moving pixel by pixel or array element by element in the pre-processing. This is all we have the magic of machine learning or deep learning. Okay, so bitmap.create bitmap, and we're gonna pass it with that. Let me take up the width configuration 0, then we have this original width and then original height and matrix, then true. Almost done. Scale image is done. Yes. Now let's see. So import it, alt enter. What errors are there? So we need to cut few things like that UI things which are not necessary for the moment. So we can cut them off. But before that, let me see what this method is on navigation one. So checking it if it is possible to add it here. We really need it. So like doing it here only, and then let me try to add it here, but it is not coming there also. So what I gonna try to do, the navigation method overriding outside this. So doing this like on navigation item selected and passing that item, that menu item, and then we are taking or returning that boolean value, turn true or false based on that. And then what we're gonna need is to that drawer, and then it is find view by id, again r.id draw layout as advanced drawer. Okay, no issue. And then we need to add when here. So with the help of this when, we'll be able to crack it. Like with 1 it will go up to that remedy and about. So for about, wall intent, and then this at main activity, and then the about us class.java. Okay, so start activity, passing the intent to it like this only, and then copy it and paste it for the remedy one. So doing it for a remedy one here like this and change it to remedy. Remedy is common remedy, that activity named as common remedy. Okay, then draw.close drawer, and you have to pass out gravity compat to it. Gravity compat, then it is start. Elsewise you have to return true here. Okay, so this method is complete, but there are errors that we need to debug right now, right away after removing this extra space. Okay, so let me check them. Okay, I think we don't need this. These are UI related things, so we just remove them. Okay, it won't affect the machine learning model process or all these things, that UI related things, you can remove them like this toolbar kind of things. Okay, let me remove these thing also. Again, remove this line also. Again, we have 2 errors, so let's remove these lines so that now there is 1 error over this. Okay, so it is now here override is not necessary, so just remove it for this purpose, and then there will be error left out, this one. Okay, so this error, how can we resolve this? Let's see, and then we'll try to remove it. I think we have taken up the wrong spelling, as it's not set on click listener, so set on item click listener. So for that we need to check, and then it one is on item, and we have reselect, but it is not a reselect, it should be select. It will still show it as an error. As you can see, it's still showing as an error because we have chosen the wrong spelling or the wrong thing from the drop down. Okay, so just when we gonna remove this RE and make the S capital, then our problem will be resolved. Make S capital. Okay, now you can see that there are no errors. Now I simply run this app and show you the whole demo. Okay, so I gonna run this. I clicked on that run button, and now you can see that Gradle is building, and as soon as it is installing the app, and it will show the green sign when it is installed, and then we'll go for the demo. So installed successfully. Now I'll click on camera and take up the picture from the camera, and then it will show the blight. As you can see, this leaf is infected. Okay, this is not the healthy leaf. That's why it will show, and after clicking on detect button, it will show that disease and as well as that confidence percentage. Now I'm taking the picture from the galleries, and after taking the picture, clicking on detect, it will show.